Shalom. All praises to the Heavenly Father, Anoka said. Praise be to the earthly mother, the Pachamama, and all of her earthly angels, the Er Kadeshoi. Praise be to the Holy Spirit, the Kahe, in the name of his only begotten Son, Motsah the Lamb, unification to the nation. Okay, so I wanted to touch on this, man. And we're going to today. I love this. Me and my sister watched it the other day, and we loved it. Beautiful, man. I love the Hopi, man. They have truly kept not only a lot of their Israelite customs, but they have kept a lot of their Mayween customs that they learned, or they kept with them, from, I don't know how they really adopted a lot of this stuff, but, they must have been taught. And they did, and this is one of the tribes that said that Motsah went to them, right? This is one of the tribes. So we're going to sit back, we're going to relax, and we're going to play this, all right?
In a remote time, Spider Grandmother thought outward into space. She thought and breathed and sang and spun the world into existence. So threads and stories, spinning in spirals, all began with Spider Grandmother. To the Hopi, life is part of an infinite pattern, a continuum of cycles within cycles. The spinning of the planets reflects the cycle of the seasons, and the circular journey of human life mirrors this larger pattern. The Hopi believe they emerged from below into this world after 3 prior worlds had begun and ended. This is the story of their 4th world.
What were those 3 worlds? There was a sacred and imperishable land. I believe that was possibly, actually I don't even know, honestly. I'm not even going to guess. But the 3rd one was Lemuria. The 4th one was Atlantis. The 5th one, the 5th one, according to the Hopi, because I think the Aztecs believe that, they're in the 5th. The Hopi believe they're in the 4th, or they're approaching the 5th. But I guess the 4th is Atlantis, but America is Atlantis. But a part of America sunk, right? Some part of it that's probably on the East Coast somewhere. I believe the East Coast of North America, it sunk. That was the sinking of Atlantis. Might have been around the Bermuda Triangle area, right?
Mankind, by their own corruption and greed, brought the world to a terrible mess in a world before this one. And out of this grew some very sincere and honest men who sat down and meditated, and eventually, by meditation, sensed that there was another world which could be a better world and to which mankind could go and be saved. And they called upon the world of nature, animals and birds. And each of the clans relate this part of the emergent story in their own way. And with the Eagle clan, naturally, it was the eagle that flew into the sky, and then they would ask him what he could tell them about the world up there. So when he landed, the eagle related that he had found life up there. And this is the Hopi story about the emergence.
The Hopi look to nature for knowledge to gain a better world, while the Western mind looks to science in the search for a new perspective on life.
And I'm sure that Hopis, even though they are awed by technology and the things that it does, they're not necessarily surprised by it. And so when I watched that television program in 1969, it was a grand show when the men landed on the moon.
35 degrees. Roger, 1202, we copy it. 700 feet, 21 down, 33 degrees. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
The eagle has landed. That was the first thing he said. Certainly, any Hopi can recognize the cyclical nature of the landing on the moon in terms of finding a new life, a new future for mankind, and that's precisely what happened with
No. First of all, the Hopi, their prophecy is more allegorical. They didn't literally come from another planet. They said themselves they came from below. Why? Because, you have access to the different, ley lines and underground tunnels and things of that sort, when you're living at one with the earth. And among different things, there are different processes. I believe it's called Agartha, this underground world. I don't know too much about it, though. I need to look more deeply into it. But no, they came from another land.
the natural eagle when he came across to the fourth world and in that remote day.
Pama happy panta hopi put happy kusuna kapat pu happy me yanta enangame yanta happy pabam himume tuat ak katune kanamin yasa basuwiwa pai pamani kata pampai ni tiuta yanta happy yau iin nik uwi kapebe o nakait happy yanta kat tu ak katune kanawag ne ya.
For more than 1,000 years, the Hopi have survived without irrigation on this harsh, dry land.
We have a commitment to raise the corn. We committed ourselves to live by that law, and the law is the corn.
To the Hopi, the seasonal cycle of corn mirrors the human journey we all share, a pattern made visible in their fields. Today, 8,000 to 10,000 Hopi and their Tewa neighbors live in 12 independent villages perched high above their fields in northeastern Arizona. The Grand Canyon lies to the west, the New Mexico border to the east. Among these villages are the oldest continuously inhabited settlements on the North American continent. Since the Spanish discovered their villages in 1540, the Hopis have resisted religious conversion, but have chosen to use some new tools of technology. In the face of 400 years of European contact and pressure, they have kept their ancient agricultural practices and values.
No piece of land belongs to any individual. He gave us permission to use it and to take care of it. So that's why the Hopis don't like fences.
Hopis say their people live at the center point of the world and that it is their destiny to be there. They say their space is sacred, multidimensional, a circle orbited by the emerging and descending sun.
Hopi ka anik pa putak kapitay. Suzuki tak pa suzuhi mo ba in mama. Na isa ko sigaf ka. Pu sagaf ka. Pu balaka. Pu piu ko chaka. Pu piu me kukoma.
Just like in
Piu
Haggai.
na tita wa we wame. Pu ma sikal me. Suzuhi mo hita we onik o we hopi.
Yellow clouds, yellow butterflies, yellow corn, the good things of life for the people. It's always yellow.
So cute.
Hopi corn, that's one kind of Hopi blue. Blue corn, blue butterflies, and blue clouds, the kinds of blue that you see on katinas. The third direction's tatkyak, red. The red corn, or red flowers, or red butterflies, the red clouds. And the fourth is white, which is hopak. We happen to have in Hopi corn all of these colors. And these are the cardinal directions.
I feel like my mother is like singing me to sleep. This woman's voice is so soothing.
The Hopi, they go by the positions of the sun on the horizon. That very point there is the time for planting certain seeds. In the morning, I get up, you see, to watch the sun rises. I keep track of all this here, you know, when certain things happening. And I also put down up on the horizon, the line in here, the line up on the eastern horizon. I regard that as a record, you know, what has been done, you know, from day to day, from day to day. It teaches you how to observe and have your mind and heart on your field and watermelons and beans and corn, because that's where our roots is. We are rooted into our cornfields.
The Hopi plant where the sandy soil protects moisture below, and in the floodplains where the few inches of precious rain flowing from the mesas feed the plants. Farming here is an art, an act of faith.
Look at the work that the men are doing.
The working of the corn is a very sacred thing. Because there's no irrigation, it's conscious preservation of every drop of moisture in the ground. And so when a Hopi farmer comes to plant, he has to push this dry surface away. And eventually he gets down to the moist dirt. And then into this soft place, he puts the seed. The very sacredness of life is corn, and it is this sacredness which keeps the Hopi coming back out to his field, even though, looking at it strictly economically, it seems futile to see Hopis come out and do the work in the way that they do it, when it could be done a lot more efficiently. The planting stick is a magical stick that carries with it all of this knowledge. The corn, when it's placed in Mother Earth, in its womb, is born by emerging out of the ground. And it is treated as a newborn with all the loving care and all of the right attitude and cheerfulness that the person is capable of bringing. I mean, you know, you think that talking to plants was some new idea. The Hopis have always done it.
See, the men plant the seed. They create the corn.
As the corn grows, one farmer must be singing. It doesn't make any special song, but there must be music along with the growth of the corn.
Just like when Kawa picked the reeds. She sang when she did it.
We emerged in this world the same way as the corn emerges. After a while, it gets to the point where the leaves, out of their weight, fall back to the ground as though for support. We lean on Mother Earth for support.
Don't we have Negro spirituals?
On the wings of the wind, the male tassels scatter the pollen. The corn silk catches the pollen to fertilize the plant. Like young maidens, the plants are ready to bear.
Swing low, sweet chariot. Told you they got Star Wars from the Northern
The
Kingdom.
girls, they used to go out to the edge of the village after the dance, you know, in the evening. So the girls all sit down in a row, and then when the boys come, they stand behind them, and then they sing songs like serenading them. And they're not allowed to visit with each other any time of the day. The only time they can visit is at night when the girls grind corn. Their door is latched and the mother sees that no one comes in. They have the little hole where they can talk to each other, and that's the only way they can visit. If a boy is whispering from outside and the girl doesn't want to talk to him, she doesn't stop grinding. She usually knows when the right one comes, you know.
She's so cute.
She might stop grinding and talk to him. And of course, the first time the mother knows that she isn't grinding, she gets up and goes and investigates and asks her who is the boy. And she'll tell him, and if she doesn't approve, then she said not to talk to him. If it's the boy that she approves of, she lets her visit with him.
That dude look like Northern Kingdom prophets.
Kamu bak bahat tiu tata yak bahat hapi me uhinchak ngum hizat pipa panta aspium hizat tahamat, namat, bezuvit, au Indian woman.
I thought he said Indian
My
women.
mother took me to my husband's, parents' house, and I stayed there, and I had to grind corn for 3 days straight, There's a lot of women that help the bride prepare the cornmeal for the feast.
Cornmeal?
Hard work. A lot of ladies and men would come to the feast.
See? Book of Remembrance. That guy. Where they get the cornmeal from. This is work, bro. I wouldn't want to do this. I'd rather be doing the work in the field. If I'm being real with you, I want to want to do this all day. This is mad tedious. I'm sure they wouldn't want to do the back grueling work it takes to plant the corn.
The corn is stacked and stored until needed. Then the moist blue corn is ground and mounded in bowls, pottery jars, and metal tubs. Many Hopi foods are made with blue cornmeal, but piki is special to Hopi.
Bro, this
is
crazy.
It is a paper-thin bread that Hopis have eaten for 1,000 years.
Yo, tell me this lady don't look like Ayul.
When you make piki, you have the blue cornmeal.
Look at her face. She looks
and
like
the
Ayul
ashes.
OD.
But just put a little bit on it, and that will color the whole batter.
Oh, she's so cute.
This is our bread.
Bro, what? That's wild. Look at that.
When I put my first touch on the stone, it's hot. Yeah, fingers had to get used to it.
That's Ayul grandma. Yo, that's a tough woman, bro. But, hey, that's what I was talking about, man. They're both needed. They're both of the same importance. But they do very different things. That's the flatbread, by the way.
Making
that's our
piki
daily
is
bread.
a part of daily life as well as a necessary preparation for a birth, a wedding, or a ceremonial. Women make vast stacks of piki for the wedding feast.
That's what your daily bread's actually supposed to be. Your breaking bread, your flatbread. That's really what it is. Because they said it was grain, but it's really maize or corn. But they can't say that because it's indigenous to the Americas.
The wedding preparations continue as the groom's father or clan uncles weave the bridal robes, and the bride's mother and family make a special basket for the groom.
Men give them the material, they make it better. See? Woman maybe has an afro, like, look bag. But they all look different. They don't all look the same. Hopis are very diverse.
In her arms, the bride holds the wedding sash. On each side, corn tassels and fringes are symbols of rain and growth.
I'm sure they are, but are you sure it's not because they're Israelites as well? Like, that's not a possibility, right?
The red dots above the tassel at the base of her gown symbolize the months of blood that nourish the embryo. The red rings and threads encircling the tassels are the veins in the uterus that feed the child. The eagle feathers are a joyful prayer for the child's life on this earth.
And not wearing feathers because they're mimicking the Most High, right?
Here at the lip of conception, the bride wears her shroud, for the bridal robe is her winding cloth, just as the basket her mother makes for the groom will sail him into the clouds at his death.
Pitiwi yung on pupumaya takamiyak ta pespakusinta nekopan nek ita itsinta yakam kiba hakim itialalwang ta uma pipuye si uma numa ti uma ita hinta kene uma hata an timu iwa is uti manu telawayo ne bayan ita piamo mi kawisam.
That's why you have to keep the balance, man. Like, you don't want women doing the man's work now because the men don't want to do it. That's madness. That's how things get out of order.
Like the cornstalk, she carries the capacity for bearing children. She carries the future.
The corn plant is like the human body, a body in which life resides. The ears are the children of the stalk, just like children are offspring of men and women. Mother corn is a perfect ear of corn, which survives the profane world of insects and bugs and crows and turns up with kernels all the way to its end. This corn plays a significant role as the mother as you go from one phase of life to the next phase.
When a child is born, it is cared for by its mother and aunts in a darkened room for 20 days. At dawn, the child, protected by a perfect ear of mother corn, is presented to the sun in its naming ceremony. A pinch of fine white cornmeal is put into the baby's mouth.
White cornmeal in the morning.
And they say this is what we eat on this earth. And so you eat that too. You have come to the earth to eat this kind of food. That's what they tell the baby.
May you live
so cute,
free from pain, and may you live long and go to sleep from old age.
The Hopi believe that when they die, their last breath, their spirit, becomes a cloud, and the clouds that bring the rain are powerful spirit forces called kachinas.
Kachinas become clouds. They travel. They have this power to make life. So the Hopis look to the kachinas for this life blood called rain.
Kachinas are the forces of life-giving nature. From winter to the summer solstice, the kachinas come from their mountain homes to the plazas to dance.
Oh, this is a banger. That's a banger, bro.
Kachinas help the people prepare for the time of planting, a preparation that takes place first in the hearts and minds of the people. Be faithful, keep your thoughts happy, so that your crops will emerge straight and tall. For the Hopi, thoughts and prayers, wishes and feelings all affect the balance of the world around them.
As I paint the Kachina dances, I would hum that particular Kachina music, because you are just involved with all that, you know, and you are pumped with that, and you can't help but sing very maybe softly as you paint. I got started painting when I was at Santa Fe. And naturally, when you are away from your people, you think about your people. And when there's breeze, they're way up in the mountains, like of Sanape. You hear the home Kachina music among the trees. There's just music, you know. And it's the music that inspires you to start painting.
Oh, well, that's a, bro, that is a banger.
The Kachinas, through their ceremonial songs, inspire life, here and in the hereafter.
They are our future. They are already where we are preparing to go by our faith.
When we see the clouds forming, we know that they're coming. But we can't say it's our people that are coming. We say, Kachinas are coming.
May our hard labor and prayer, our sacrifices, come to fruition in rain, clouds, corn, growth, life.
So that's part one. I'll leave the link for part two in the description. You guys can check it out if you want to. You know, hey, they kept a lot of, you know, the stuff that we did before, man. Very beautiful people. I love the Hopi. Shout out to them. May peace be with you. Selah Kala.